Well, good morning to you. It's been a minute since we've gotten together. I'm Dan Gresham, and this, as the name implies, this is my house, or at least my tiny portion of the house where I get to have a studio here at home, which has come in handy over the course of the last year or so, but it's also an art studio. I can show you some of the different things that are going on inside my house. And we'll do that over the course of the next few minutes, though. The number one thing we usually do is we talk about some of the headlines that are going on, kind of get you up to speed. Mid-morning coffee break, if you will. That's what we do here. I can see you. You can see me. We can share comments with each other. It's as simple as that Facebook post that you do all the time, where you put your thoughts in. All you have to do, sign in. You can tell me where you're watching from. You can tell me what's of interest to you today. You can tell me what concerns you this morning, because I'd really like to know. What are the things that are on your mind? Is it the heat that's happening outside? Is it what's happening with the coronavirus variants and the possibility of seeing more restrictions? There are a lot of things that in a lot of places we're going to cover in a very short period of time, but I always like to hear from you. Let me also ask one more favor, if you don't mind. You know what it is, it's the thumbs up. If you don't mind hitting that for me as you're dropping in this morning, it would be greatly appreciated, just so I can kind of have an idea that you've been here, you dropped by and you know what's going on. And let's go to our comments this morning. Just check in on a few folks before we get very far. Here's Janetta Williams says, good morning, Dan. I hope you and your family are doing well. And in fact, we are. Thank you. Cassandra is checking in this morning. Hi, Cynthia. You don't have to miss me, Cynthia. You can catch up with me every morning. I'm still doing the morning show, 4 hours every day on KFDM and Fox 4. Hey, good morning, Jessica. Hope your day is off to a good start. Hi, Laura. It's going well. Good morning to you, Lisa Granger. Also, Carlene, always good to see you as well, my friend. Cassandra is asking this morning, how's your shoulder? You know what? Small victories. We're headed in the right direction. But I will tell you this, for those who don't know, Cassandra's been watching and through, months now. I've been going through recovery. I had rotator cuff surgery, and it was pretty extensive. A lot more than I thought it was going to be, but it's taken me a little bit longer. I really thought, Cassandra, even though the doctor told me, the physical therapy, it's going to take, 9 months, a year. I don't know about you, but I always go, sure, I can do it quicker than that. I'm going to work harder. And then you find out there are some things you can't power through in life as much as you want to. There are some things you have to sit back and kind of let it come to you. And apparently that's what the healing is for the shoulder. If you ask the physical therapist, and again, my thanks to the folks, Miss Connie, Derek Anderson, all the folks who've worked with me, they've been very patient because like I say, I tend to overdo things. It's like, well, if 10 is good, 20 is better. Not always. But we're getting there. We're headed in the right direction. Thank you for asking. Hi, Rose. Good morning to you there in Silsbee. Also, good morning, Linda. Hope everything is... Your concern is the heat. Well, I understand that, but I have a question for you this morning, Linda. When it gets hot, do you just keep going or do you kind of scale back? Are you one of those people that, it's 95, big deal. I've lived here 20 years, 30 years. I know heat. I can handle it. It's not going to be a problem. Let me know what you're thinking this morning on that one. Rose Harris, good to see you there in Port Arthur as well. Hi, Gloria. Glenda, missed you. I missed you too. Unfortunately, the schedule has been such, it's just been hard to find time to squeeze it in between the work schedule, the home schedule. But I promise, Scouts Honor, I'm going to try to do my best to get back on a regular basis so that we can spend some time together. Cliff Cummings. Good to see you, my friend. I hope you're feeling better. I know that you were struggling there for a while, but what I'm hearing is things are better, and I hope that's the case for you this morning. Carlene says she hates the heat. Lisa says, I grew up here in the heat all my life. I have never liked it, never been able to handle it, will always hate it. I know what you're saying, but the reality is life doesn't shut down. So you kind of have to figure out, what am I going to do with this? How am I going to deal with this? Am I going to just figure out, I'll spend time in the shade. I'll only get up early in the morning to do the things that have to be done outside. I know there are several places that I don't want to go when it gets to be this way. One of them is the attic. I always think of the AC guys. How do they do it? I mean, it must be like 300 degrees when they're up in the attic, but they can't go, oh, I'm not going to make the call today. Cause isn't this their Christmas, right? This would have to be their busy season. And yet it comes at a time when it's got to be difficult to be up in the attic doing it, but they keep going. Guys who work outdoors all day. I can only imagine. I can remember doing it as a kid when I was growing up. I worked at a steel mill, and believe it or not, in the blast furnace in a steel mill as a teenager and in college, and that was pretty overwhelming. But I also, street work. The guys who are out there, see those guys with they're like blow torches, right? And they're out there and they're doing the tar patches on the street. I keep thinking, man, that's working. That's earning your money right there. Kimberly Knight says, hi, Dan, watching from Chesapeake, Virginia. Can't let Channel 6 go yet. Well, Kimber, that's very kind of you. I hope you're enjoying the transition. I have to imagine that's a pretty nice one. My time in Maryland, my experience in Maryland, very limited. I've been to Baltimore. That's pretty much it. I've been to Baltimore, transitioning to DC, but I can't say that I've really spent a whole lot of time there, but it looks like beautiful country. I'd love to get back up there and spend some time. Rachel Foreman says, hi, Dan. We moved from Johnson's Bayou, Louisiana. We used to watch y'all there. We miss y'all. So now I watch y'all on Facebook. Great. That's where we're at this morning with our at home. We're also on YouTube, Dan's at Home, so you can catch us there as well. All right. So again, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for commenting. You can do this. We can chat all morning long. If I don't mention your comment while we're here, it's okay, because I will check them once we get finished. All right. So let's jump in, get a look at what's going on this morning. I always like to start things off, KFDM.com. Weather is not an issue except for, you got it, heat advisory in effect until 7 p.m. That is not something extraordinary. That would be something normal for this time of the year with this kind of humidity. All right. Also, the breaking news of the day, County Judge Jeff Brannick going before the public this morning, commenting on where we are and where we may be going with this current resurgence. Is that what it is? Is it a resurgence or it just never died down? Either way, that's where we're headed this morning. This is the conversation Judge Brannick had. You can go check it out on KFDM's Facebook page. But essentially, he's saying that people need to get vaccinated and that maybe you need to think about wearing those masks. You can see that the medical folks behind him are all masked up. And again, CDC making some more changes yesterday concerning mask mandates across the country. And we also now can tell you we have a confirmed case. I would have to think, and again, this is just conjecture on my part, but again, this is not a newscast. You know that if you've watched this. Don't pretend to be a newscast. This is just casual conversation, you and I, over topics of the day. If you want a newscast, you know where you can find us. And, it's in a different format, in a different style. But wouldn't you think we've had the Delta variant in Beaumont and in Jefferson County since we've seen the numbers continue to go up dramatically? You forget, and I forget too, because we were so far down that road where you thought, okay, we're not going to talk about this anymore. We're not going to have to deal with this anymore. We're headed down that road where masks are a forgotten thing. And now we're going back the other direction. But you forget that we have mandates in place that if you get above 15% as far as percentage of people in hospitals in this 9-county area, that you have to roll back capacities on restaurants, bars, retail center. Can they do that? Could they do that? Could they withstand it? Maybe that's the better question. And would people do it? That's the other thing. I don't know how you put this genie back in the bottle. I really don't. But it'll be something that we'll obviously watch and something that we may have to confront. You have to have 7 days, 7 consecutive days, 15%, and then it becomes something, a story that we will be dealing with and something we will have to talk about. So those are among the stories we're following this morning. As I mentioned, you can go to kfdm.com. This is not the web, Facebook. This is actually the website, kfdm.com, where you can check on what's happening in your weather. You can also get the news, and you can get it in a variety of different ways. I want to go back to this page just for a minute because I want to go back to the homepage and just kind of point out there are some other things. Beaumont Hospital and Baptist setting up for overflow if they have it. There is testing out there, people. I've had several calls this week. People wondering, where can I get tested? Well, for one thing, I hope that you can actually be tested in your own home because you can buy rapid tests now at pharmacies. They're not that expensive, and you can know pretty quickly whether you test positive or negative. So if you're wondering about testing, that's one option. Other options exist. I mean, you can go to the county health departments. You can also, let me bring this back up so you can see a little bit better. But right here is a story that says Harvest for Lost Souls is offering testing to the community. So there's another option that you can go and check out if you want to. So there is testing available. And if you're one of those people who's also saying, well, what about vaccinations? Where can I go get vaccinated? You can call any of the county health departments, city health departments, and they can set you up. It's really easy. They can set you up to get the shot if you haven't had it and you still want it. So don't let that be what stops you, from getting it if you're interested. And here it is again, that spike we were talking about in Jefferson County. Because it is, you've seen more cases in some places in like 2 days than they've seen in 3 months. So it's something to be concerned about, something to keep an eye on, obviously a story that we're going to continue to follow as well. So that kind of brings us up to speed on what's happening here in Southeast Texas as far as, the homepage is concerned, and stories that you can follow at kfdm.com. Other stories of the day, grabbing attention and connected to Southeast Texas, I think. Good story, Texas Monthly, on Dusty Hill, who was one of the trio that made up ZZ Top, right? There's a picture of Dusty. Many of us I've had the pleasure of working with and around ZZ Top a couple of times, and very professional when they come in. And of course, they have connections to Southeast Texas because, believe it or not, these guys were playing Southeast Texas at a time when, 1970, 1971, 1972, from my understanding, and again, I'm no expert, but from what I understand, these guys were playing proms in Southeast Texas. Now, I know my good friend Al Caldwell from radio days. I know that he would tell stories about when he introduced ZZ Top to Southeast Texas, and the Rose Room, which is the Hotel Beaumont up on the top floor, if I remember correctly. And then, of course, as I mentioned, proms across Southeast Texas as well in those early days when they were beginning. And they are enshrined in the Museum of the Gulf Coast and their Music Hall of Fame. 98, if memory serves me right, is when they were inducted into the Gulf Coast Hall of Fame. They came into town. It was a pretty big deal. And again, their records and stuff are there, so you can go and see that. Let me also bring to your attention this morning, if you're a sports fan from ESPN, Oklahoma Sooners and Texas Longhorns formally notify the SEC of membership for 2025. Sportsmans know it's not going to be 4 years before Oklahoma and Texas jump out of the Big 12. It might be a surprise if it even is 2022 before they start playing football. Come on. They're going to pay off the contract obligations to the Big 12 and they'll move on. But this is expected to change the landscape of college athletics. That, the common thinking seems to be that you're going to wind up seeing 4 super conferences in America that'll have 16 teams each, but we'll see. But don't expect it to be 2025 before they finally make the jump. The other thing I was going to ask you this morning, are you an Olympics fan? Do you watch the Olympics? Because I got to say that around my house, it's pretty popular. Like all day watching things. You're like, why am I watching badminton? I'll probably never, but it is pretty fascinating to watch because I don't know the game and I don't know much about it. The quickness, the speed, I think of badminton. I think of it happening in the backyard. It's kind of like, whoop, whoop, oh, mom, get that one. That's not the game they're playing. I mean, what they're playing in Tokyo is a whole nother level. Singles, doubles, mixed doubles, it's happening. I was just sitting here thinking a while ago, what have I watched? Well, obviously gymnastics, swimming, the big ones. I like volleyball, so I've been watching. I watch the men's indoor volleyball. I've watched women's, watch beach volleyball, and the list of archery, skeet shooting, surfing, skateboarding. Now, I haven't sat and watched all of these in their entirety, but I'll catch the highlights. It's kind of fun to watch. It only happens every 4 years. So it's been, kind of fun. So I bring that up because, of course, a lot of conversation this week has been about Spring Texas Simone Biles, gold medalist multiple times, and what happened to her during these Olympic Games. And then there was a lot of conversation. Well, what happens now that Simone Biles is out of the individual all-around competition, which she won the gold medal in Rio? What happens? Well, apparently what happens is someone else steps in and they win a gold medal for the United States. Let me just show you this. Suni Lee has captured gold in the Tokyo Olympics gymnastics all-around competition. So congratulations to her. She won the title. I'm not going to give a lot of it away because you know how this works. It happens overnight while you're sleeping, and then you wind up seeing it tonight. But I did want to let you know that there is an American taking home the gold medal. All right. So again, just a quick run through of some of the stories that we're following, some of the things that you may be following as the day goes on here with me this morning. Plus, again, I like your comments. I love to hear what you have to say. I love to take the time to check on what's going on in your lives. And all you have to do is comment with the Facebook page. It's just that easy. Let me see if I can pull up some of those comments real quick before we go. Regina Morphew says, my favorite channel. Have a great day, Dan. Well, thank you, Regina. And thank you to a lot of folks who have made KFDM and Channel 6 part of your day for a long time. Some of you have been, around for as long as I've been. I've been 35 years. Some of you go back much longer than that. Louise, hello to you. Good morning. Susan Guidry, good morning to you. Cliff Cummings says, COVID is now part of our life for now and forevermore. We will have to learn to live with it. Mask or no mask should be an individual's choice. Also this morning, Terry Turner, I think the humidity is the issue. Heat is one thing. Our humidity is so harsh. I wake up and get my day started with you guys. Thank you, Dan, for keeping us informed. Well, thank you for Terry for having a cup of coffee with me this morning. How many illegal migrants are going with the Delta variant? I don't know. You're right. I don't know. And I'm not sure anyone knows. But I'm not sure how many people actually, and I'll take this CA one step further, all right? I don't think anybody knows how many people in the Golden Triangle, period, no matter what ethnicity or what demographic group they're in, have the Delta variant. Because there are a lot of people who are feeling good, who say, oh, it's all good. There's nothing wrong with me. Good example. We were talking about the Olympics. You can go back to the Olympics because you know what? We have a pole vaulter who was the number 2 in the world from the United States who trained forever, right? Went to Tokyo, ready to be in the middle of the competition, test positive, and now he can't compete. They talked to his parents who talked to him last night. Feels great, showing no symptoms, but he tested positive. So again, there's no way to know. And that is, we've talked about this and people have talked about this and health experts certainly talk about this, that therein lies the problem. Asymptomatic. People who are carrying the virus but don't have any of the symptoms. And the problem being that I feel good, I mix with other people, I may never feel bad, but that doesn't mean I didn't share it with you or somebody else who has more health issues than you may have, and then it becomes problematic. So yeah, there's no way you're going to know who because of this. And that, again, is why so many health officials are now saying you can't deny the fact, that this is an issue. Michael Knapp, good morning, my friend, says mutant COVID-19 looking for the unvaccinated. Good luck with that. Also, Joyce Ewing says, take care. Will Joyce, thank you for dropping by. Margaret Bertrand, good morning to you as well. All right, I'm going to go. I'm going to bow out here. I've got things to do. I just wanted to drop by again, spend a few minutes saying good morning, saying hello. I'll try to make this on a regular, get back maybe tomorrow. We can talk about some of that. I do want to mention too, today or tomorrow, because I think it was one of the best things I've seen in a long time. If you have not seen the Paul McCartney kind of a limited series on Hulu called McCartney 321, go check it out. We'll talk about it some more tomorrow. All right. So I'll leave you with that. Do want to remind you a lot of ways to stay up with what's happening across Southeast Texas. Of course, go to the KFDM pages. You can go to the web page. You can go to the Facebook page. You can also, of course, catch up with me on Twitter, Morning TV Dan. That's my handle on Twitter. You can also subscribe to YouTube. You can follow me on Facebook, Dan's at Home. That's one page. You can follow me on the KFDM page. You can follow me on my personal KFDM page as well. So a lot of ways for us to keep up. Again, if you don't mind, hit me with a like before we go this morning. I would appreciate it. You go out and make it a terrific day. Pay attention to the heat. Don't overdo it. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning back on KFDM TV for the morning show.